Welcome to Rap in Order, the interrogation of a hip-hop album, where we take some of the culture's most beloved hip-hop albums, put them on the stand, see if they stood the test of time. Now let's see who we got on the stand today. Welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
And today, of course, we are joined by that of Eyez guy.
Yo.
And we're getting into an album. Well, no, before we get into an album, it's been a little minute since we all sat down. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. You know, Halloween just passed.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as usual, I did not celebrate. But for the month
you had like a, didn't you?
Yeah, I watched 31 horror movies in 31 days.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool.
Which one was your favorite?
Any
ones that you didn't see before?
You want to know, I never, like, so when we were listening, I never watched The Poltergeist.
Oh.
I watched it, and that movie is just about gentrification.
You know what's crazy? I haven't seen it in a long time.
Nah, it was mad funny, bro. It's just about gentrification.
I haven't seen it in a while. That's crazy.
I have this thing. It's not that I dislike horror films. It's that I don't like scary movies where I can't punch my way out of it if I was in the position. So like all the like demonic, spiritual or like sci-fi shit scares the fuck out of me. And I don't want to watch. I don't want to pay. I don't want to go get scared.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but the funny thing is none of those movies scared. Like I watched them and I wasn't scared at none of them shits. I did realize this though: the GOAT film franchise is The Conjuring.
Nah, all right. So my ex watched The Conjuring, and it's very well put. I didn't realize all.
It's a universe.
Movies, yeah, from The Nun to the.
It's The Conjuring, The Nun, even Amityville Horror. Even though it's not in that universe, is mentioned because it's the same husband and wife are the ones who are doing the exorcism. So they have like a universe. So like I was like, oh shit, because like I'm a Saw guy. But,
yeah. I like Saw. Saw is something like even though that's not something I can punch my way out of. It's like all right, these are I understand how mechanics work. So this is actually like okay, this is physically can happen.
Yeah.
I just Freddy versus like Freddy and Jason and all. No, I
But that's what I'm saying. Like I watched all of them and like I realized I was trying to like piece together. So like for like Nightmare on Elm Street, like they have the new Nightmare where basically it's a movie in a movie and shit like that. So like it's basically like they made a movie about the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and so the original girl's in it, and like her son is being attacked, and I think her son, I forgot, is one of those little kids. I think it's not Haley Joel Osment. It's one of those kids that were like child stars or whatever.
Yeah,
that were like really short, but yeah, like I was just like, okay, like it was a cool watch. So now for November, I'm suffering through Thanksgiving movies, and I'm realizing that movies that are surrounded by Thanksgiving suck really bad.
Yeah, movies. I don't know if there's ever like a classic Thanksgiving themed movie.
Yeah, I watched Grumpy Old Men. Jesus.
It's just because Thanksgiving, the whole concept is bad vibes.
Yeah, I watched You Got Mail. I realized that Tom Hanks is a dick.
I really like that movie though.
You've Got Mail. Nah, he's that, bro. That's crazy.
That's a classic.
That's crazy. That's not a classic movie, bro.
It is a classic.
Bro, literally, literally the entire time he was helping her learn to like him.
Can I be honest? I've never seen You Got Mail.
You don't need to. You're good.
No, Meg Ryan.
You're not missing nothing.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. You know,
another movie about gentrification.
The Good Whites.
Yeah, I like Tom Hanks, and 9 times out of 10, I'll watch anything Tom Hanks is in.
Yeah, me too. But I watched You Got Mail, and I realized, you know what? Something in my body told me not to.
Was this your first time? Oh, this is your first time seeing it.
Good Whites. Rest in peace, Chandler.
Rest in peace to Matthew Perry, man. Yeah, you're right. That wasn't
a good white. Oh, you gave me the look.
That was a good white. I don't know.
I feel like I
don't know the surgeons because he's gonna turn this into a dog pile on Friends.
I'm not gonna turn it into a dog pile on Friends. Actually, I watched Friends a few times. Friends is cool, but he said some things about Keanu Reeves I didn't like. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I haven't said a bad word about Matthew Perry. I didn't say anything. I just stared at you. Okay,
I get it.
You know,
I get it, but
I don't like as Danny says. I do not speak ill of the dead.
Yeah,
so he is gone, and I feel sorry for his family, and that's all I have to say about that.
Okay, all right, okay, fair enough. What you want
Start.
to get? So there was a
We
lot
got
of new
we
music drops.
we got new music, right? So obviously we got to start off. Megan dropped Cobra,
Mm-hmm.
and we found out that Party cheated.
Yes.
He
Yeah,
got
we
his dick
did.
sucked in a bed.
Well, we
Was
don't know
it
if it
her
was
bed?
her bed.
I don't.
That's
Yeah,
the
I
funny
heard
thing.
that the same way too.
Yeah, it's
But
like it's just where you were sleeping. Like you could be sleeping in my house. It's still my house.
yeah, and we also just don't. And that's the thing with the celebrity thing. Like when we rooting for somebody, like obviously everybody for the most part wants Meg to win, right? So we never want to picture somebody cheating on her when she's like already down and feeling the way that she felt like publicly. But we don't know the inner workings of that relationship.
Okay.
She just has the louder microphone.
Okay.
That sample sounds real familiar.
I had it, but I don't have it anymore. I'm sorry.
What for the sample?
Yeah, for the sample. I
feel
know
like there's
I know
three
that
songs.
the producer, like, it's three of them, they're brothers, and their last names is Banks, and they have like a collective or whatever like that, like of
Contains a sample of "After the Cosmic Rain"
hmm,
by Return to Favre.
okay.
It was a song that was released in 2006.
But but all in all, I kind of liked it because it get like I'm always open to like when artists kind of switch up their content. So I'm always like open to like hearing like another side of an artist. Like, Mongols just didn't do what it was expected to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Megan is a capable lyricist. So I think that the fact that, like, she was able to like do this song, um, I think that there was something that, like, kind of worked for her. It was just showing like another side, like her versatility. Like I think this next project is going to be a very mature project, and I think obviously she's going to have something for the strip clubs, but I think this is going to be a more mature record that she's going to put out, and especially because like this is like going to be like her project. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think like she's not going to have like outside input and stuff like that.
Yeah, then she go on a whole thing about how she's funding it, quote unquote. That
Yeah,
it's coming out of her pocket.
the bottom of the details of this track say, I think it says "Hot Girl"
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. She has her own production. So right now
Yeah.
she's a free agent. She's managed by Rock Nation. She's a free agent. And I mean, like it's smart. Like she's from Houston, so it actually is kind of like like very like poetic that like she's basically an independent artist. It's just that she's one of the biggest artists in the world.
Mm-hmm. Um, I wasn't that big of a fan of the song. I really like the beat.
Mm.
I'm a fan of that type of content because I want to know more about her and what's going on with her. Traumazine, I think her last album, in my opinion, did a really good job in doing a focus on that and also having dance
Mhm.
party records. So it's not like it's new for her to kind of delve into this lane. Now that the case is over, she can probably explore more into
Yeah,
it.
we gonna get
But
some
yeah,
shit.
so we'll see.
We gonna get some shit. Jeezy dropped his new double album. I might forgive, but I don't forget. It's a double disc. I definitely think that there's a such thing as a double disc curse. Um, I like grown up Jeezy.
Mm-hmm.
And like it has like some really, it has some good, like Jeezy's a good artist. So he like there's nothing on there that's like blowing me away. Like I still think that the DJ Drama mixtape that he dropped was really good. Like it like surpasses this, but I'm actually happy that this project is still good because for a while I was like, damn, Ross got Jeezy on the ropes, like, growing into their careers. But I think Jeezy found his footing on this.
Yeah, I think also a lot of people after his public divorce are trying to see what grown Jeezy sounds like in this era of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't give too much information on the marriage.
Well, I have not had a chance to listen to the whole album. I've only heard 3 songs, maybe, but from everything that I've heard, it's good. It's just not of the same caliber as that drama tape.
Right, right. I agree, but I think that I was just telling Rez before you got here off camera. I think it's funny. Like people will talk and say like, "Yo, I don't think Pusha T's like beat selection is bad. I don't think that anybody thinks that Pusha T can't rap. It's just that people be like, yo, change your content." Jeezy literally does that, and then people say, "Rap about coke, nigga. Give me trap or die." I'm not saying you say that, but I'm just
No, I
saying
get that, yeah.
most fans. That's what fans are saying to Jeezy. So I just think it's funny. I think people just like fucking with artists because I guarantee you, if Jeezy was still doing that, people would be like, "You're not still in the trap.
Oh, I
You're
agree.
not doing that." But it's like, and so Jeezy's aware of that, and he's like letting you know where he's at right now, and he's talking about real estate and investing, and like telling you, his struggles from the past and everything like that. Like basically, like Jeezy's like explaining that like he spent most of his career being very paranoid. like and like always like running into some shit, always dealing with some bullshit, like having the BMF stuff looming over his head, all those dudes getting indicted, and then when he distanced himself from those like some of those dudes, he was considered not real, but like obviously as smart as it's like, yo, well, I'm a rapper now. I don't trap anymore. like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, that's the kind of like the tone of the album. Like him basically like saying like, yo, this is like what I had to do. Like, or like him like accepting that like his mother was doing the best that she could with raising him and shit like that. Like, it's just that kind of like conversations. He's not talking about anything like currently like illegally, and you know, pretty much like he earned his stripes. So I just really I enjoy hearing it because it's like it's kind of like giving you a backstory. Like it's kind of like if we got like the movie Scarface, right? And then like we actually got like let's say Tony Montana, they make a movie about him, like his feelings of like paranoia, or like imagine we can find out like, you know what I'm saying, like we saw how angry he got at Manolo, but like why he got mad at Manolo, or like, you know what I'm saying, like where his mind went with that, like how his trust issues are set up and shit like that because how his mother treated him and shit, like just things like that. I thought was kind of dope with Jeezy.
I'm gonna definitely check it out. Jeezy has earned that right for me, especially with his discography. So I am gonna get to it. I just saw 29 songs and I was like, all right, I'm gonna need.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm gonna need a minute, especially when listening for this album.
Yeah.
Like back to back double albums. I'm like, bro.
Okay.
I need a minute.
Some other significant. I'm just gonna run through some other like notable T Grizzly drop.
Yeah, T Coney Island.
Yeah.
I listened to a few songs off of that.
Of course you did.
Yeah, because I saw Coney Island, T Grizzly. I'm typically actually.
So y'all have a Coney Island in Detroit?
Yeah, Coney Island is like a Detroit staple. It's a chain of restaurants in Detroit.
Ah, okay.
So he doesn't have his own, but to my knowledge, he doesn't have his own. But it is a chain of restaurants. Every neighborhood has their own Coney Island.
Wow. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys check out Lady London's project?
I have not. I do like Lady London though.
Sarah told me that Lady London is scaring the hoes music.
Yeah, she can really rap though.
Yeah.
I mean, she's always been able to really rap.
Yeah.
She's a rapper, so I do not doubt that. She does her freestyles too. She's had her freestyles throughout Instagram for years. So
that's how I first like started fucking with her.
Benny the Butcher and Lil Wayne dropped Big Dog.
I have not heard it yet, which it's on my list.
It's
just
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually was enjoying going through this
going through the albums that
we're
revisiting. So that's really what I listened to.
All right. Yeah. Well, you know what? I just want to get into it. Let everybody know that this episode is sponsored by Jada Pinkett. Jada Pinkett and the Ghost of Tupac.
There we go. So yeah, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into the Tupac album. And not just any Tupac album. This is an album that was really pivotal for him and his career. This is his fourth studio album. This is All Eyes on Me that I'm talking about. It's a double disc album, came out in 1996. And it has a lot of like lore to it, right? Because it features some artists. A lot of the artists on here, you'll notice that like are still very popular to this day. I mean, what can you say about Snoop Dogg that hasn't already been said, right? You got Snoop Dogg on here, you got Method Man, you got Redman, you got Corrupt, you got Dre, of course, you got Danny Boy, you got E40, and I love that E40 is kind of every now and then E40 will just drop a never before seen photo of him and Pac. You see him doing that, and I love it. But this album came at a time for Pac when, you know, of course, he had got locked up, and I think this was the only album or the last album that he made before he passed.
Yeah, this is the last. Well, no, this is the last album that he was alive. That came out that he was alive for. Yeah. Machiavelli, like he made it. It was finished, and then he died.
Yeah, and it's on so many different lists. It got so many accolades over the years. 1,000 best albums of all time. It got ranked that in 2008. Best albums from 1963 to 99. It was ranked that. 100 recordings to hear before you die. Like it got 500 greatest albums of all time for Rolling Stone. 90 best albums of the 90s. So there's so many rankings with this album. We was talking about it a little bit off mic, and you were pointing out some of the things that you weren't necessarily a fan of because you said that this wasn't your favorite pop album.
Right. Well, and I want to get into that part later.
Okay.
What I do want to talk about, well, I'm just going to start it off. when this album came out, one of my best childhood friends, Basil, my brother, he was the first kid in our building to have All Eyes on Me. And like we would go to his house and we would play Nintendo 64, play Mario Kart, you know, whatever games was out at that time, right? And we would literally like we were listening to this project and actually, and I just lied. It wasn't N64. We were playing PlayStation. I'm sorry. It's just that like we all like whatever he had every game. So his house was the house that everybody wants to play video games.
Yeah.
It wasn't N64. It was PlayStation. And we would go to his house and like play games and stuff like that, and we listened to his project. And I remember looking through the booklet and like looking at like the photo shoot and looking at everything, all the pictures of him with the Outlaws, and like he had on the Grand Hills. That was one iconic thing. Him wearing the leather wife beater.
Yeah.
That was another iconic thing. Even though it's like we make fun. Okay, I'm sorry, the leather tank top. Sorry, and like you know, it was like iconic because like you could see that he was being positioned to be like an icon, right? And I didn't notice until like I started doing my research, but there was a gentleman named Papa G that was the publicist for Death Row, and he was like in charge. Like Suge Knight was very very like savvy, so Suge Knight hired Papa G to basically spearhead getting all of them like getting them in certain like spaces that like rappers weren't getting. So like obviously like getting in a Source magazine, being on Vibe was like a big deal, but like he's the reason why like Pac was at Fashion Week. He was the reason why Pac got next to Donatella Versace. He was the reason why like Pac was getting like all of these like high fashion, high end spreads and like being next to Madonna because like Papa G saw that Tupac was like an icon, like you know because when he went to jail and like his album still went number one and they saw like how he was like resonating with people, they were like no rapper is doing that before Pop. The closest rapper and that kind of like mold, like I understand like we had like Rakim and Nas and Biggie was on the rise, but like it was like Ice Cube to be that polarizing, to be in movies and be that big of a deal. So like what he did was is like he went out his way to make sure that like the photo shoot was like a big deal. And like Pac like had like no idea. So like they're interviewing him in this documentary, but it's literally behind the scenes. It's not there's no voiceover. It's literally just like people following him around death row offices. So they're showing Pac the booklet and like the one significant thing that I saw that Pac said, he was like, make sure like you put the information for my fan club so I can like continue writing my fans because I used to like talk to all my fans when I was locked up.
Yeah.
And like to me that was really significant that he said that. Like he was like, I read all the letters and I want them to still be able to contact me, like know that like I haven't like changed the addresses. And like he was just like, damn, like I see why you made me wear all that shit now. Cause he actually didn't like none of it. He wanted to wear like baggy jean suits and shit like that. And he was like, I'm telling you, you're an icon. Like telling him that then, like it just was eerie. Like what he was telling Tupac because like who, you know what I'm saying? Like at that time, like rappers were rappers, but like people knew. I think people saw more in Tupac than he saw in himself. Like I think that he was just like existing, and then you know hearing like everything, like pretty much all hands was on deck. Because you got to think Snoop Dogg was the biggest rapper in the fucking world.
Yeah.
And to come to and basically Pac came there, and like obviously Snoop wanted him to come, but I just thought that was pretty significant to like see that, like pretty much like you know it's like having like a basketball team and a dude comes on your team and like the coach is like, I know you get like 15 shots a game, we're gonna knock that down to 9 because Pop needs some more shots. I just thought that was significant. I'm sorry, I just wanted to like just give that whole thing and like y'all tell me like y'all like early memories of the album.
So for me, like I just remember playing this album almost every day because of my brothers. Like I have 2 older brothers. They would play this album all the time. And then if my uncle would take me to school, he would play this album. So like even on a revisit of this, I was like, damn, like I remember this like yesterday. There was no song on here on the revisit that I wasn't familiar with or that I couldn't remember playing. It was just that significant in my childhood. And I guess I should have wore the yellow cardigan today for the guy that like got at me a little bit about my cardigan. The Dallas Rays, but you know, I did play this album all the time, despite my personal opinions of Tupac. I can show like love to where to where it's needed, and this album was very significant for me. And Pop even back then, it's just that in later years in my life. I just don't revisit his catalog that much, but this was a fun revisit. It brought up a lot of memories.
One quick fun fact. Who has the first double disc rap album?
And it's not this album?
No.
Who is it?
It's DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Oh,
he's the DJ, I'm the rapper.
Yeah.
It's a double disc. The thing is that like this album came out in 1989 and CDs weren't that big, but it's actually the first double disc in hip hop.
I remember that now. Well, I remember that fact. I don't actually remember.
Yeah. So, Will got one up on Pac.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to make that a thing. I'm not going to make that a thing.
Though, take a W somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, Danny, what were your
early memories, Danny? Tell us how your brother told you to hate Pac.
Nah, I wasn't allowed to listen to Pac growing up. I grew up in a very East Coast household, and especially around this time at the height of the East Coast versus West Coast, which is really Bad Boy versus Death Row, as we've come to realize as an adult. Tupac wasn't played in my house. It was a Biggie household. So I didn't get to start my Tupac experience. So I was probably about 13, 14, getting into middle school when people were like, talking about Pac. I am not the biggest Pac fan. I stand by it. I prefer seeing Tupac act than rap. My biggest things with Tupac is just I don't need to hear Enemies and Hennessy every 2-3 songs. There's just certain things that it gets too repetitive on a lot of his stuff for me. However, this is one of 3 Pac albums I like a lot. I don't have many skips on this album, though there are a good amount of skips.
There's some messages on here.
So there's probably like 4 or 5 together.
Yeah, which is impressive.
But it's a double album. It still has a good flow. Even the songs I don't fuck with, I understand why they're on the album. But in a time when this many songs is hard to listen to, because it's not that long for an album like this 20.
No, this shit is like 2 hours.
It's 2 hours, but for a double album with that many.
Nah, bro, that's pretty normal. And all the songs are like 4 minutes.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like if you listen to each album individually, it doesn't feel like that long or hard of a listen to.
Okay.
At all. So while listening to this, we had one other album we're reviewing in another episode. I would break it up. I'd listen to the first half and then listen to the second half after the album. And especially because it's around the same time, it's a good balance. But this is actually probably my second or third favorite Pac project.
Okay. So I have some pushback, right? So I'm always conflicted because it's like I talk shit about Pac, but then like I have like my reasons why I love Pac. And something that I was thinking about while listening, right? Like, you know how like people like for a long time always made fun of Pac of Nas, saying that he has horrible beat selection. I think with Tupac is even like to the point he didn't have enough time. Like Tupac's career wasn't even 10 years. Like, so I just like hear me out. Tupac can rap. Like Tupac can rap, but he's not like I don't know what the proper word is because it's like he's not lyrical, but he is a lyricist, right? But like he doesn't do all the wordplay stuff and everything like that. But the energy that he brings is why his songs are so significant. Because outside of Ambitious of a Rider, none of his beats are like, you know how like usually some people are like, oh man, that the production on that like. Okay, let me take that back. California Love and Ambitious as a Writer, right, are probably like the staple Tupac songs.
No, because when I think Tupac and beats, my favorite beat I go for Tupac is going to be Shorty. Shorty's going to be a thug. I want to be a thug.
Okay, but that's personal to you. But I'm just saying, like universally, if somebody, that's Scarface. Yeah, that's a Scarface song. So it will be Hail Mary.
Pain.
So,
sorry, I was thinking of Pain.
So but typically, if someone says, "Yo, put 2 in the air for Tupac," it's Hail Mary, California Love, Ambitious as a Rider.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying, like overall, I know we all have like our personal favorites, but I'm just saying, like, and like all 3 of those beats are like very significant beats by like certain producers and stuff like that. But like Tupac never he never locked in like with producers. Like think about it, like Dr. Dre begrudgingly gave him the 2 beats that he has on this album. Like they were supposed to go on the Chronic Part 2, and Suge Knight was like, "Nah, we need that for Pac. We got to put all the marbles in on Pac." And like the reason why was because like, yo, we just bailed this motherfucker out. We gotta make this money back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we need to make all this money back. Like he just went, his last project just went #1. We just gotta keep this going. Like everybody else will like fall in line. You know, and some people felt salty about it. Some people didn't give a fuck. But that's what happened. So I just think that the fact that Tupac was rapping so well over these beats that were, some of them weren't mixed, some of them weren't finished. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jewel, who's on the album, had an interview saying like she went in and she was singing the song, singing the hook, and like Tupac wouldn't let her go past two takes. She was like, "Yo, it's fine. Let me get in there and record." Like, and she was like, "What's the rush? Like, let me warm up my vocal cords." Like, he was like, "No, it's fine, bitch. Get out." Like verbatim, she said that he said, "Bitch, it's fine. Get the fuck out." R.I.P. Jewel.
I think he probably at the time, because it sounds like the way he worked of just burning through studio time, like kind of like how Wayne went on his run, that he would just stay in a studio.
Yeah, Pac was just famous in sleep in the studio.
The technology just wasn't up to par as it is to properly put out the music, probably get feedback. You don't have mixtapes at the time, and really like that. Like, rather, you don't have mixtape warmers. How mixtapes became a thing with rappers, where they like, I'm gonna put out a mixtape, see what songs on the mixtape hit, and I'll build the album off of that.
Right.
They didn't have that back then, so there's a lot. I understand why it came out the way it did.
I don't. I think what you know. All right. So what you're saying is true, right? So when these albums were being made, like I think that Pac would have benefited from how music is made now versus back then. I just think he had no patience to like wait for people to get in the studio. He was like, "Yo, where you at? Like we making this right now, and this is why like we got the fucking outlaws everywhere on this project.
Yeah.
Some niggas was just around." Or whatever like that, or like, you know, whenever he like tried to like get collaborations going, he was like, "Yo, I guess you'll just be on the next album, because if you can't make it out here like by tomorrow, like shit gonna send you a flight, like shit like that." Like I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
So your way of saying that he would have benefited from how it's made now is because he could have like emailed back and forth?
Yes.
Oh.
He could have like sent people tracks, like producers could have like got beats from him and shit like that. Like I really think that like Pac, when he just worked at a certain speed, so like, you know, Daz was the in-house fucking producer, so he was going to be able to get down with them. Fucking DJ Quick, like even though like he had to use his real name on the album credits because of his like label situation, he couldn't put DJ Quick, so that's why like some people don't realize DJ Quick is on the project. So I just think like he just, whoever was available, and they like Dr. Dre had no choice. He had to come up off them too. And like those, like a George Clinton, I know that hurt Dr. Dre. A George Clinton sample that hurt Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
That hurt him.
That opens the second disc.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, I'm like ramp, because I just had so much to like say, because like I like this was like a polarizing album. Like like the lore behind it, like everything that's talked about, like it's like on some Elvis shit. The way they like this, especially this project, like even Machiavelli, like it was recorded in 7 days. It's not that much to talk about with Machiavelli because it was such a short, quick process. This process, this man was in jail for 11 months, came home and immediately went to their fucking studio and just started working.
Yeah, right.
Everybody just had to give Pac all of their shit.
Part of the lore, I would say, from how, you know how for a while when rappers would get locked up, before they come out, there would be all this anticipation to see what they do, and then they come out and life just be normal. And
It's because of Pac.
Yeah, like, but it was built off of that. Like, yeah, it was built off of that. This was the blueprint to that, because when he came out, it was bigger than life, and he delivered on all.
Yeah, he delivered. Like I remember when Slick. Well, I don't know. Well, you probably. I don't know if you. Well, I'm not gonna say that. Slick Rick came home and like he had like his butt, like it was all right, but like it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like they really was trying to, like, you know, but like the 80s was over and the MC changed.
Yeah.
Like everything just changed. So he literally looked like Huggy Bear and I'm gonna get you sucker.
What was it? The Art of Storytelling is what he came out to, right?
That was the project that he put out on Def Jam after the Art of Storytelling. And like,
which isn't a bad project.
No, not at all.
Like it's you can go listen to it now. In other words, it's just the time when it dropped. Everything
they put bread into that project. Yeah.
It just, everything else going on,
it changed.
Yeah, outshined it so much.
Yeah. So you want to get into it? Oh, what you got to say, Danny?
I was gonna ask, what are your? Because it's kind of funny to me. I think 3 of my top 3 favorite Pac songs are
are on this album?
On this album.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna just break it down from disc. From like disc one, my favorite. I honestly feel like Ambitious as a Writer is one of the best hip hop intros. It is up there for one of the best rap intros that I've ever heard. Um, Kicks off the album so fucking well. The beat is so amazing. The cadence on it, everything, the background vocals, it all just really works. And then what else we got? Two of America's Most Wanted. When I first heard that song, even as a kid, I was like, "Yo, this shit feels special."
That
Like it
video.
just, yeah, in the video.
So yeah, I was gonna say the video. This was one of the songs that my brother was like, "Yo, turn that shit off," because I love Snoop. Like Snoop, I always loved, but even back then, my brother's like, "Yo, turn that shit off." But this song, I remember just the bounce and the feel of it.
Yeah.
Being a kid, like yo, just
It just
like
feels,
9 years old, and I'm like,
that shit.
Do you
feels
remember on
good.
MTV they actually did like a countdown? They showed the making of the video, and they were actually on set and they were hosting like a countdown of videos and stuff like that. So you just see Tupac and Snoop just having a fucking blast, just sitting
Yeah,
down.
I remember that.
They were in their suits and shit, and like they just like snapping, telling jokes, introducing videos and shit like that. And I was like, damn, like these dudes is having mad fun. Like,
Fucking superstars. Bro.
Yeah, like you know, they just was having a blast.
So that's two for me, and then honestly, like this one, the only song I don't like on this one is "What's Your Phone Number" with Danny Boy at the end. That's the only one that I don't like. I like all of these songs, like the joint with Red and Meth and Daz and Corrupt, crazy. Got my mind made up. I think that's. I almost want to give that my third place. But All About You is crazy.
the only thing I would have changed was I would have put All About You on the second album.
All About, I can see that actually, because All About You would flow because it's so fun.
Yeah, that's the only difference I would have made in this, and it's just, but
it probably could have went right
to
before or after Picture Me Rolling.
Yeah, but when you listen to it sonically, I hate using that word now, but it flows very well. It's just for content matter. I wish it was later on the album.
I can see that. So to answer your question, Ambitions as a Writer, Two of America's Most Wanted, and Got My Mind Made Up as my top three from disc one. Yeah. What about you, T?
I mean, this one is my favorite of the two discs.
Yeah.
And I have the most like favorite songs.
Trading War Stories.
Yeah, Trading War Stories was really good.
Yeah.
Right? Ambitions as a Writer, of course, How Do You Want It, To America's Most Wanted, No More Pain, Life Goes On, California Love, of course, and I Ain't Mad at You. No, I Ain't Mad at You is on this too.
No,
it's just on this
it's
one.
on this one? Okay, yeah, and I Ain't Mad at You. Are like some of like, you know, the highlights on this one for me. And I just, like I said, it's just very like, it's just significant like how fast like that nigga worked and like got all that done, because back then it was just, like what Pac did was just unheard of back then, because to make records, like you would make one song one day and everybody would just listen to the song over and over and over and over again. And Tupac was like, nah, I need one more out of you. So like he's just in there like telling dudes like, yo, you want to be a part of history? You want to do this? Like, come on. Yeah, for this one, like that's like the songs that like you know, like, and Trading War Stories was really like a dope song to me, because through watching like
Z Mega, he was playing that shit into the ground.
The funny thing is like I watch DJ Vlad, I watch the art of storytelling. Like it's these guys on the internet that like are Tupac obsessed. And like they interview all of the outlaws. And as much shit as I talk about them, I watch it anyway, because Tupac is our Elvis. And as you listeners know, I like Elvis. So since we have an Elvis, I like try to like learn all the lore and everything and try to understand what made Tupac tick.
Yeah.
So you know, them interviewing those guys and like hearing like what songs like Tupac really fucked with or like he was really proudest of is interesting. And they said that like Telling War Stories was like a song that like he really, really was like proud of. So to like
it's
know
a very complete song.
Yeah.
Like going with what you said with like how you can tell that a lot of these songs were rushed even though they're good. That one, you can tell they took their time.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, Ambitions, I really love Got My Mind Made Up.
Yeah. Who do you think had the best verse on that?
I don't feel like Meth got it.
I think so too. Well, I don't know, man. I think him and Redman kind of
For me, it's
faced
Redman.
off on that.
Yeah, for me, it's Redman. Meth
They was
always
so
rises to
so.
the occasion. Pause, but for me, it's Meth.
Yeah. I Ain't Mad At You is one of my favorite pop songs
Yeah,
of
Yeah, of course.
man. When that video
all
came
time.
out, it was so eerie, man.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Eerie video.
Did you notice that he's in a car similar to the same car he died in?
Yeah.
But yeah, literally the first album is so complete, just minus that Danny Boy feature at the end.
Yeah. Then what's your number? What's your phone number?
I feel like outside of Bad Boy, not too many other labels did great R&B song hooks.
That's an interesting take because when I
Well,
was
For
listening
that time.
for that
Well,
time,
yeah, most. Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
think most rap labels,
They
Bad
put
Boy, they
emphasis
kind
on
of
that.
they put an emphasis on that. Like So Def had R&B acts and he had rap acts, but like it wasn't like Jermaine was more so like producing records versus like having like both a
Yeah.
duality and everything like that. Death Row basically was the answer to what Bad Boy was doing, and like Suge Knight actually, like it's unfortunate all the things that happened to Suge Knight because Suge Knight is actually pretty genius in everything that he did, and it's like if everything would have like worked out and like he wouldn't have like fucking tried to become Michael Corleone. He had a really good business mind. And he also had like the relation like pretty much the relationships. Like it's so funny how like pretty much like Dr. Dre kind of just like took his position at Interscope and at Jimmy Iovine's like guy because before it was Suge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think that's really funny. And Suge had the idea. Like even like, with the R&B artist, like he had Jewel, he had Michelet, he had Danny Boy. Like he had like, you know what I'm saying? He was managing KC and JoJo and Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
That's some like did y'all like do you know how fucking insane that is? Like you understand how everything was intertwined back then? Like the fact that he basically went to Andre Harrell and got all of those artists out of their deals and like under management with Death Row. During all of that shit, as close as Mary J. Blige is with Puff, and how big of an influence Puff was to Jodeci's career, and who knows what other artists like he probably was like trying to like pull in, because like also finding out that fucking Eric B was going to be the president of Death Row East.
Yeah,
it's fucking. It just
Yeah.
I don't know why.
He got Devontae Swing on here as a production credit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they had all of these like projects, right? Because like even like with How Do You Want It, it's like the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, with KC. Yeah.
I also do know that like not on this album, but Toss It Up is a diss to No Diggity.
Yes, I did. I knew that. I forgot how I knew that. It's probably one of my brothers.
Yeah,
that mentioned it to me. But yeah, I knew that.
Like that's hilarious to me, and like basically like they would just jack beats. So that's why I Ain't Mad At You and Don't Leave Me have the same beat. Yeah, because like that basically like Suge Knight wanted to do a deal with Teddy Riley, and Teddy Riley was like no. And Suge Knight was like, all right, then. He was like, then fuck you. Anything that you make that's gonna go on the charts, I'm just gonna take that shit. How about that?
Make my own version.
Yeah,
that's some bully shit. So we get into the second disc, which kicks off with the Can't See Me, which features the George Clinton sample and it's produced by Dr. Dre. And it's such an authentic West Coast beat.
G-Funk,
it's such a fucking like the way that shit comes on, like you feel that. Like you feel that shit.
Yeah.
And it's one of those complete productions on this album that I really like.
Yeah.
If I was to get into my top 3 from here, that's definitely in it. And then I got Picture Me Rolling. And I Need Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. I love that song.
Of course. So
but All Eyes on Me.
Yeah, misogynistic Regg would love that song.
Of course.
Wonder Why it's just fun to listen to. And then you hear the random harmonizing in the back from some uncredited woman.
If you hate women, just say it, Rich.
Wow.
Okay, don't do that.
For me, it's Can't See Me, Shorty Wanna Be a Thug, Wonder Why They Call You Bitch, Picture Me Rolling, All Eyes on Me, Ain't Hard to Find. Like for those ones, right? And it's funny. Let me tell you something. So I remember vividly when we heard Wonder Why They Call You Bitch, and niggas was like, that sounds like Faith Evans. And everybody was like, no fucking way. That like I remember one of my boys said that when we was at Basil House listening to that project.
And I feel like that was a rumor around my way too.
Yeah, like and people was like, yo, that's Faith Evans. And
like you didn't see the picture of them?
Yeah. Like, and we was like, nah, no fucking way. Lo and behold, like Faith and Biggie wasn't together. Biggie was dating Charlie Baltimore at the time. It was so much shit that happened in such like a small vacuum. Because at that time, Biggie is very much with Charlie Baltimore. And like Faith is single, so she's just out. And like, according to Faith's story, she's like, yo, I was just trying to get a bag because I wasn't like, my album hadn't come out yet. And like Death Row offered me a ton of money. They offered to pay for my flight. So I was going to California. And I'm not saying that I fully believe her. I definitely believe she was like, fuck Biggie, I'm going to get this money. But I definitely, I do think that she went out there fucking him. But I don't think that she went out there with the full intentions on fucking him. I think she went on the full intentions of like, I'm going to make music with whoever I want. And then I just think Tupac was such a smooth nigga, he got in her pants anyway. Because Faith is notoriously said on Drink Champs, she likes to fuck.
Yeah, she was lit on Drink Champs. She was saying a lot of shit on
that. Remember she said how she told the story of how she got in trouble for fucking Redman? She lost her virginity.
No, she lost her virginity to Redman?
Yeah, they're from the same neighborhood in Jersey, and she got in trouble. Her mother called her Redman fucking.
Yeesh. I gotta go watch that episode. Faith was shout out to Faith.
She was
giving it up.
I was like, I did not expect Faith to talk like this. She was mad hood.
She be lit. She be OD lit.
I mean, now the marriage to CVJ kind of make more sense.
Well, they're getting divorced. She be his ass. She was beating up on him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think my picks on this album, I think it's Can't See Me. Shorty Wanna Be a Thug is my probably second. Bro, the horns in that beat, like I just love that beat. Like even because when Kanye redid it,
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Like I've
Drive Slow.
Just really fucking loved that beat. Especially then when people redid the freestyles to Kanye's and they made the T.I. remix to Drive Slow.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that Picture Me Rolling is up there, and All Eyes on Me ain't hard to find. I love E40 and I love that. I love when E40 makes sense in his raps.
I like when E40 doesn't make sense. It's ridiculous.
I like both.
I like both, playing.
But I like when I get it. When I get them, like, oh, but then it makes me think. Wait, am I thinking on a different wavelength?
Yeah.
And I'm say it like that.
That's mad funny. Yeah. What about? So you named some of yours.
Yeah, I named some of mine, right?
Okay.
I just also like. Okay, so also at this time, another reason why Pac was being overworked was because he was working on MC Hammer's Too Tight album, and I actually like heard it, some of the tracks that were like leaked, and it's really funny because MC Hammer was really struggling at this time. Because like he realized like his music like phased out.
Yeah.
But like the thing that sucked for him, he was like, yo, like I'm really from the streets, but I don't want to promote this. But then at the same time, when like he put out an album that didn't chart, he was like, all right, I can't do so. Then Suge Knight started like managing him, and he made Pumps in the Bumps. And right, so then they were like, all right, like we're gonna make this album, and it was supposed to be Too Tight, and like basically it was literally gonna be like what Jay-Z and Jay Electronica did. Where like Pac was gonna be rapping on majority of the songs. It's gonna be a Tupac project. Like they were like they basically said like, listen, we're gonna make the people in the hood accept you. Ain't nobody gonna like disrespect Pac. And like people in Oakland vouch for you. Like people know like who you are. So we recorded this whole album. They did all this shit, and then he came out and was like, "Yo, I can't put this out. Like, my wife is a minister." I just think it's so funny though because like I'm just like, well, Hammer really is from that, but like Hammer was just like, nah, like
I came from that. I don't want to.
I don't want to promote that, and I can't do it. And they was like pretty much like it was like no hard feelings.
Yeah,
they were just like because they was like, all right, like well, you really are certified. We can't do nothing to you.
Isn't he like a Navy SEAL or some shit?
Yes, that too.
Yeah,
like
okay, we're not gonna press you.
They were just like, all right, like. Cool, but like Pac was in like overdrive because he worked on the Too Tight project that MC Hammer said he can't do anymore. Then the Outlaws project that he was working on. Then he was trying to start his new record label with Regg B and like trying to get artists to come over there.
And he was movie career.
Yeah, and that movie he was and he you know what I'm saying he was engaged to Kadada Jones. And like he was just like really spread really thin, and then like all the other women he was dealing with, mind you, this was a 18-month span.
Yeah.
Think about like he lived he lived what he did
the life in 18 months.
Yes, like a life like that we're still finding out. Like they just got pictures revealed of him in Italy. just those pictures, just like somebody just randomly had them and was like, oh yeah, these are pictures of Tupac at Fashion Week in Italy.
Nigga was 25.
Yeah,
crazy.
Think about that. 25, I was a fucking goof. I would have ruined everything. There's not.
It's insane, bro. What he was able to do in that short time span.
Yeah, man.
Because it was all like the legacy of Pac mostly focuses on that 18 months.
Yeah,
because it's
that's the most documented. That's the most documented part of his career. Like there's so many people that really don't like. You don't know like certain things. Like you don't like I know he moved around a lot, but like nobody knows where like Tupac's childhood home is or anything like that. Like people don't know like outside of like Jada telling us what he was like in high school and shit, and like that videotape that Jada probably submitted of him talking about like what he wants to be like when he's in school in Baltimore. Like we don't. So like that 18 months is that's it. That's it, baby.
Yeah, that's it. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me, man. Pac is interesting. I like this. I'll be honest with you. I really like the lore of Pac more than anything.
I think
the lore of Pac is what carries over more than his music.
I didn't want to be the one to say it.
I mean, it's
not a bad thing. It's just like he's so polarized and shit. Though, like, I mean, I do enjoy Elvis music, but like, I'm not sitting down listening to Elvis. Like, I like Elvis because that nigga was just wearing capes and shit, and that nigga talk with an accent, and he had a fucking posse that they called the Memphis Mafia. That shit is fucking dope. Like, I just thought that shit was cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like little things like that about Elvis. Like the fact that he named his house, his home estate, Graceland. Like, I just think that's what I think is cool about Elvis. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what draws me in.
Yeah.
And I think that's what like separates Tupac from like a bunch of artists. And I was thinking about something. I was just like, who was an artist that if they would have like died young probably would have, and like let's say Pac didn't die, right? Like, but like another artist like died young that like was polarizing like that when they were younger. And I was like, let's say Boys in the Hood came out and then Ice Cube dies right after Boys in the Hood. He would be it would be, I think his lore would be just because he was just as controversial, just as vocal. The music that he made was like, people were saying that he had like these classic projects, whatever like that. But Ice Cube lived to grow old, and it's not a bad thing. Like we want people to grow old, but like now we've seen him become like a flawed human with some of his political stances,
political views.
some of and then some of it's like some people would just like, it's weird seeing him in Are We There Yet and Barbershop and shit like that. But I think about that sometimes. I know that's like a weird thing to think about, like, oh, like if we could swap. But I'm like, I think Ice Cube would have been that close, because I think Ice Cube at one point, like, he represented that same thing, and then I think him being more like entrenched in Hollywood and understand how things work, I think it kind of made him a little jaded, and like, he stopped being as vocal.
I think he just channeled we saw his creativity go somewhere else. Just like Pac, we would have eventually saw Pac probably focus on movies more.
Right.
Yeah.
He would have just grew up.
Movie Tupac is my favorite Pac. Like I appreciate his movies more than I do his body of music movies more than I do his.
What's your favorite Pac movie?
I really like Gridlocked. I seen it the other day and I forgot how good it was. I hadn't seen it in forever. Poetic Justice is great. I mean, Juice is Juice also.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to working at Urban Outfitters in like fucking, I want to say 2009, and the only two movies they had on repeat in the break room was fucking Juice and Mean Girls.
Oh
yeah.
And Gang Related was good too.
With Jim Belushi.
Yeah, Jim Belushi, James Earl Jones. It was a cast. Dennis Quaid was in that. But yeah, he had some shit, man. And I think as he would have got older, what would he be in his 50s now, right?
Yeah, I think, well, for like, all right, so there's two versions, right? There's the version of Tupac that lived after he got shot in Vegas, who will be a fucking vegetable. That's that version, right? But then we have the version, like, let's say he never goes to Vegas and doesn't get shot. I think that Pac kind of like leaves music, and not because like of regression. I think just being Jay. I think he probably would just like he would be so like disenfranchised with what's going on. I think he would probably like leave the fucking country. I think he would just be like so pissed off about things that he like wants to change and like wants to do and stuff like that. He would be so disgusted. I don't think he would stay. And that's just from what I think, and I could be wrong. Some people might be like, "Hell no, he wouldn't have left." But he was 25 years old when he had these thoughts. Like, think about all of the people that we like. It is rare. Like, you want to know like how rare it is that most people that like are like that were like super vocal when they were younger. Like, if we see them as celebrities as they get older, they become less vocal because they realize that certain shit kind of don't matter. And it's not saying that it don't matter what they care about, but like there's all these roadblocks and these hard things to get around. And I think Pac would have become very, very like jaded and upset by having all those roadblocks put in front of him.
I think he'd have one of those love hate Instagrams.
I don't think he'd be on Instagram.
I do. I definitely think he would. I mean, I think just every artist at this point has to really have some form of at that level.
I think he would be more closer to Mos Def. Like how Mos Def treats his celebrity. I think Pac will be like that.
But I also think with him, look, he had the plans of starting Euphoria, right?
It's not how you like Google it. It's not Euphoria. No, it's not Euphoria. I know what you're saying, but it's like 𝘈𝘭 something. I can't pronounce it. It wasn't. It's Africa backwards or some shit like that. Or is it? Yeah, it's like something backwards.
Yeah. I forget. Damn, what is it? Is it euthanasia?
Yeah, euthanasia.
Euthanasia.
Yeah.
That's not Africa backwards.
I know it's not. Yeah, but I'm just saying it was something that he had. I forgot, like, because Tupac loves acronyms, so like each letter means something or whatever like that.
I thought because from what I've read and stuff since, because I'm not a Pac historian.
I am.
He had plans on leaving because he didn't like how things were working on the business side of things, and he wanted to venture out. Do you think him being in that position where he had not not a failed situation with Digital Underground, he just had strained relationships while being in jail and everything going on at the time?
Yeah, he just had trust issues because a lot of people didn't look after him while he was locked up. So there's two rumors. Because there's so many people that claim they were close to Pac, and like you can't like his mother. Like for me personally, I'm like the people that that probably really would have known really don't speak on it, and that's Kadada, his mother. Jada doesn't speak on the death row shit. So Kadada, his mother Jada, and like I know the Outlaws like always speak on things, but the Outlaws pretty much say like he wasn't like he was happy with Suge and he ain't planning on going nowhere. His brother as well, right? But then you have other people that say like, yeah, he was planning on leaving, but he fulfilled his albums.
Yeah.
He signed a 3-album deal. He fulfilled it, and that's why Suge Knight came to him and like, well, nah, like you still got to recruit, like in the movie. And I'm pretty sure that like there were things that like Pac was privy to because he's been in the music industry for so long. But I don't know. I don't know if he would have got out of that. I think Suge would have did. Like they were literally printing money. I think they would have had problems. I think what would happen is that him and Suge Knight would have fell out.
Yeah, I think event, but that's what I'm saying. I think having that experience and Pac wanting to do his own, if he did want to do his own thing,
He definitely wanted to do his own thing.
That would have been a very artist minded label runner.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think you wanna know what's funny? And this is a compliment to you. Like Pac was like a very like big dreamer, like big thinker with his imagination, like how you are.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that as your friend, like,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, so like with him, like, he would like do things and like have like these big plans and shit like that. And I'm pretty sure people would be like, yo, you can't do that. And Pac's like, well, why not? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's like what we kind of say to Danny. We'd be like, yo, Danny, you kind of reel it in or whatever like that. But yeah, like, so I just think that like Pac had big plans and Suge Knight like, it don't work like that. Like you gonna stay on death row, you gonna resign, and we gonna give you another advance. Like I think that's what happened, and like that was the whole reason for Death Row East, because I think he definitely was like, yo, you got your 3 albums, yo, I'm out. You really think about it, Tupac gave him maybe 3 weeks worth of work and gave him 3 albums that like sold over 20 million records.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive. I don't know if he would have been able to kind of like steer artists in the right direction because he, just going back to like you even saying that he was rushing people out of the studio while they warming up their vocals and stuff. So I don't think he would have been focused on the pristine levels that artists are able to create.
I think he does a better job with seasoned artists because what he got out of Hammer was pretty good. So obviously that's one person, right? But like I think he would have got it. He probably would have had like some rough patches, and I think somebody would have like been like, "Yo, you gotta let these artists like be artists. Everybody's not you." I think he would have figured it out. I just think that he probably would have needed like a strong team around him. But I think that he would have had problems with Suge because Suge just wasn't very like kind of like I remember how he treated Warren G when he signed with Def Jam. Like that was like a big thing. So, you know.
That's
The
true.
Warren G stories about being around Def Jam when that first signing first happened are pretty intense.
Yeah. Is there any songs on the album that you hate?
I was just about to get to that. There is so the first disc, the only song, like I said, that I didn't really like was "What's Your Phone Number." Let's see. No, I did like that one. Oh, "Ain't Hard to Find." "Ain't Hard to Find" on the second disc. That's song number 12. I ain't really.
I like that.
You like that one? I ain't really like that one.
I'm a E40 fan, so
Yeah, I ain't really like that one. But the outro is solid.
I didn't like Checkout Time.
We gotta go. Yeah. I didn't like Checkout Time either.
I'm not the biggest fan of Hotline at Me either.
Oh yeah, with the random. Yeah, I didn't like that one either. So maybe like altogether 4 songs.
Yeah, 4 songs out of this
27.
many. Yo, look, I'm not as much Tupac slander as I love to put out. You have to give credit where credit's due. Even with you pointed out you can hear it. There's songs that aren't properly mixed. It feels rushed through. But the songs that are there are such gems and stand out so much and are really like when you go back and look at Tupac's overall discography, at least I want to say at least 5 to 10 of his best songs are here.
Okay. For me, like it was the second disc that like really
Took a nosedive.
And I was like, damn, if he would have combined like these really good songs, it probably would have been. I mean, the project already got acclaim, so it was like it don't even matter, but like it did its job. But like I think that was the problem. There was a lot of like fat on the second disc. But I get there was a means to an end. Like Pac had plans, but for me this album like it just says itself from the cover to every like the 4 videos that he put out, like everything was like very very like significant and like very like memorable.
Yeah, you
And
couldn't escape it.
yeah, like it was just everywhere, like even like to this day, like even like hearing it, like All Eyes on Me, like that's just something that you think about, and like that literally what was going on with him, right? And like it's like so like I wore like this particular shirt on purpose because it was like Tupac and Mike Tyson, they kind of had like mirrored lives essentially, where it was like these 2 men, like they went to jail, had something to do with sexual assault, they were on top of the world, they had all this money, all of these things, and it's kind of like like they were just going through that, like they were the biggest stars in the world. I feel like obviously we know like Snoop Dogg's most famous rapper in the world, but I definitely think like Tupac rivals that. And like it's like Tupac is our Elvis. Like he is an icon. Like there's statues, murals of him everywhere. Like I've never gone to a city and not seen a mural of Tupac.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Like there's people that like literally live their lives by what this man said, and it's just to me, I guess like the most impressive thing is like he's 25 years old. I don't think that a lot of now I'm about to sound like an old head, but like I don't think a lot of the newer artists that the bodies of work that they made at age 25, I'm like living by their mantra of what they said and everything like that.
Yeah, but I don't think that's also just necessarily their fault. I think it's just society and how media is now processed, and I think nowadays in the music industry, it's not designed for artists to come in and automatically think long-term career. I think
Rappers.
rappers specifically come in and music is a means to get their foot in other doors financially, and then they stop caring about the music. Music doesn't make money for people, so
I don't think that's the reason though.
It did at one point.
It did at one point, but I think now they realize that there's going to be very few artists in rap who are going to be able to solely eat off of their music
I think
going forward.
I think music still makes money for people. I just don't think music makes money for artists that make it. I think the record executives and all of the powers that be make all the money in the world.
Oh no, I agree. When I'm saying that, I mean for the artist. It doesn't make money for the artist.
Oh, okay.
Because we know that there's people in. So when sometimes you hear rappers talk about, or artists in general, because artists have talked about it, how they get this amount of money up front for a project, or they get XYZ, or they don't even really get money. They just get things taken care of for them.
Mm-hmm.
And a person who's not even that far up the chain is making, $100K a year off of their backs without.
Right. But no, what I was just saying is just that like at 25 years old, Tupac said things that like there are 50-year-old men that still live by that mantra.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm just saying. I'm just saying like what he said at his age.
There's so many only God can judge me tattoos.
Yeah, like what I'm just like that's what I'm saying, Danny. I'm saying like Tupac was to be 25 years old and to have such an impact on people, right? Like think about like the artists that like we have like coming up, like Jay-Z, his career didn't start till he was 26.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm just saying is like with Tupac, he was 25 years old and he made this body of work. And like there are grown men who like treat him like he's Jesus and like really took in what he was saying. Most like like what I'm saying, like okay, I'll give a prime example. My grandfather quotes Tupac lyrics to me. Right? A man who really is like a fan of like the Temptations and the Spinners.
Yeah.
Like even like Tupac in his prime, like my grandfather didn't listen to rap, but he listened to Tupac. I don't think that my dad. I asked my dad, yo, did you see Megan Thee Stallion's new video? Who is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like how times have changed and things like that. Like that's how polarizing Tupac was. My grandfather was literally quoting Tupac raps to me. Mm-hmm. Like he was interested to listen. I'm listening to Tupac. Like,
it's really interesting because like my uncle, and I mentioned my Uncle George. Like, shout out to Uncle George. He listens to Pac. Like he would ride around and listen to Pac when he first came to the States. Like that was the only rapper he would listen to. Him, my Uncle Chris listened to Pac. So like those people that don't really rap doesn't pierce their world.
Right. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, Pac was one of those people that for whatever reason they gravitated to because it felt like they were on the outskirts if they weren't. It felt like they weren't, like they had to be included in what he had going on.
Agreed.
Yeah. No, I get it. I guess also for me it's different because my parents are first generation immigrant, really. Mm-hmm. So like, my father was born here but grew up in Puerto Rico young age till he came here and he was 12, 14.
Yeah.
For them, like my parents, their hip hop it's rappers delight.
Yeah.
And my mom grew up with Sugar Hill Gang and stuff out there, so she like that's their extent. Like when my dad talks about rap, it cuts off at Run DMC.
Yeah, right. And on the other side of that, my dad loved 50 Cent. Like he loved 50 Cent.
Oh, my mom.
It was just the story
growing up. Yo, it's the weirdest shit. My mom hated 50.
Yeah,
loves 50 now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh like, wow. It's 50 completely entertaining. I'm like, Mom, do you understand?
Because she likes power. She seen him act, but that's what I'm saying. Like, see, at least like they under like I'm telling you, my grandfather, like, gotta understand. My mom was a teenager in the '80s. He hates rap. He just likes Tupac. Like my grandfather, like there's no rap that makes sense to him. Like you go back, Melly, that boy a fool. Like that's how my grandfather talks. Like, but for some reason he fuck with Pop. Like that's what I'm just saying. Like for him, like to resonate with people, like it's just interesting. No, I guess like my grandfather. I think my grandfather probably saw an interview of his and just like what he was talking, and that just made him.
I think that was Pac's true talent. Yeah, I think his ability to convey thoughts and emotions was his strength, and I think he would have been able to do that whether it be through music, as he does through acting, whatever he chose to do. He was going to be able to have that talent.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless for somebody like me who doesn't feel like the music catalog is all there, there's other aspects of Pac I do enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But I still stand in my square.
All right, cool.
This, so
okay.
Sound like we got
that's going to bring us to our rating. So,
right.
Danny, you want to kick it off?
I give it 4 out of 5 waffles.
That's respectable. Okay. What about you?
3.5 out of 5 waffles.
Okay. You have anything? I feel like you have more.
The thing is that like it's a polarizing project, but it's too many tracks.
Mm-hmm.
The second disc like it's kind of like overkill. So it's like like all right, if you have a double disc project in front of you, like you'll probably give the first disc a run, right? And you'll be like, oh man, that was great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of I think what happens with All Eyes on Me. And then you get to the second disc and like you might like skim through because you spent so much time listening to the project. But like when you sit down with it as a whole, the second disc is not that. It's like, yo, you could have made these bonus songs, bro.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened. So for me, like I'm just like, yeah, you know.
So Big has the greatest double album, and
oh yeah, we already said we crowned it that. Yeah, I crowned it that. Yeah, I actually also made an argument as the greatest rap album of all time. But I mean, that's on another conversation. But that was for me. That
Okay.
you know.
So yeah, I feel comfortable giving this a 4 as well. 4 out of 5. Despite it being such a long project, I didn't feel drained re-listening to this album because there's a lot of nostalgia attached. So I couldn't really remove that from this when I was listening. I named 4 songs. 4 to still fuck with, 23 songs is impressive, for a double
artist we
disc.
love to bash, dude.
Exactly. So like we still be able to listen to this and like kind of put that to the side to be, all the Tupac overrated talk, whatever that I've said on this platform plenty of times and that I stand by.
Spoon down for this one.
I put my I should have brought the cardigan like I said. But Pac is a revolutionary. Like, and I think this album is one of those ones that cemented that. And I would encourage anybody to listen to this album and see what you could take away from it because, it really showed, and I've read all the stories about how it even came out and, how hard he worked on this. And I think, what was the album after this? Was it Dr. Illuminati?
Yeah, Machiavelli, yeah.
Machiavelli, that.
Yeah, 7 Day Theory.
Yeah.
He recorded it in 4 days.
Yeah.
And then
the last 3 days he just chilled.
Yeah, the last 3 days was the mixing and mastering that I had to go through. Like it's crazy. Like he was.
I mean, shit. He recorded this in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so
I think Illuminati might be my favorite.
And I think
and I want to talk about it.
I respect Pac for like his work ethic and like what he put out there. And like I said, you guys, when you take in this episode, I want you to go back, revisit this album, let us know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
And we are out of here.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Dun dun.